Hello, welcome to Season Quest. I'm Tom, and I'm the DM for this new season, Puppets. I'm joined by Lucy, Troy, and Charlie. Yay! Woo!
Caesar stands up, walks a little bit forward to the producer, raises the check in front of him. I don't need your fucking pity money. And he rips it in half and walks out.
And the producer goes, shit.
I just saved a lot of money.
Yeah. Calls up the studio. Hey, you won't believe this. Fucking Caesar just turned it down.
Once the boys catch up with Poppy, she's like, okay, step 1, find Elmer. Step 2, get that fucker fired. But she does it in a nicer voice.
Yeah.
As you guys are walking out, Dee Dee bumps into you and is like, oh, I'm excited to film today.
Oh, no.
Dee Dee, I think you need to go talk to the producer.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get your hopes up. Kind of as she goes away, trying to like call past her, just being like, but also not wanting to deal with it herself.
Dee Dee does the thing that puppets do when they like push their face down to look confused and upset.
Yeah.
The Kermit fold.
Yeah.
Okay, Greyscale, you have done a crime show. You know, in general, the proceedings. What are we doing? How do we find him?
Well, I just sent my driver away for the day, so...
Do we want to search his green room? If we can't go anywhere.
Oh, check out Alma's green room now?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. I guess we should take it into our own hands and solve this case.
Yeah.
Let's find Elmer.
Does anyone know where his green room was?
Next to ours. I assume. I imagine it is one of those green rooms that has a big star on the door and then says Alma underneath it.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to where anyone goes after we leave the set.
You're already a better detective than the frogs.
Yeah, speaking of the frogs, there's still 2 frog cops just standing around the cordoned off area with the ID and the fluff still there. And they're just talking and being like, oh, I think it was just kind of a thing that happened, eh? Probably just went for a walk and stubbed his toe.
They've been going back and forth for 7 days going, probably just did this. Probably just did this. Probably just did this.
They have been making up a thing that it is. Probably just, you know when you take a drink and then you disappear from existence for a week and a half? Just probably that.
Probably went to see a movie and then watched the after credits trailer and then the next one.
Nobody's asked them to guard this cordoned off area. They just haven't stopped hypothesizing.
And they won't. Objects in motion tend to
will
stay in
not.
motion.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, gentlemen.
Hey.
We've got the senior detective Greyscale here, out of retirement from his show to take over the case. So
Oh, wow.
you guys are relieved.
That's great. He presses onto his walkie-talkie. Hey, Jim, we're free to go. And the other guy next to him, his walkie-talkie goes off and he goes, awesome. And they leave.
I hate them,
Wow.
but they're a little bit cute.
They get in their police car, which is a cardboard cutout of a police car with bicycle wheels. It's a tandem bike, but with a police car over it. And they go, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo,
Good.
as they drive away.
Literally everything.
Yeah, in front of you in this sort of cordoned off area. Again, it's Alma's wallet and a touch of fluff.
I want to look through the wallet first to see if anything would be missing.
Okay. Do a brains check, I guess.
Cool, I'm rolling a d12 here, +1. What am I trying to get?
Let's go for. Tell me what you're looking for, and I'll tell you what you're trying.
Shit, Lucy, we have the same thing. We got D12 +1 for brains.
Because we're both clever little guys, also we're adults, we have +1 to our brains and +1 to our grit.
Okay, sweet.
I'm looking to see if anything's missing, like, let's say, like his credit card or anything obvious that would be missing. Or anything, like,
Okay.
I would know he would have on him.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a 10 to succeed.
Okay. 5.
5. That's a fail, but you do get an adversity token.
Cool.
Ooh.
Hey Tom, what can adversity tokens do?
adversity tokens in Kids on Bikes are used as a currency, which you can use to... You can spend adversity tokens to pass a roll. They each count as 1 point towards a roll. You can spend as many as you want. If you're in a team setting, you can help each other to pass rolls using adversity tokens. Additionally, adversity tokens can be used for character abilities, which are individual things that people can do, such as Lucy's character, who can do turn into paper thing, etc. Fun little stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a good explanation?
Yeah, it's...
Yes, up until Lucy can turn into paper.
Yeah. So Kids on Bikes is relatively rule light. The stuff around stats is a tiny bit more complicated, but unlike D&D, it's not like, cool, this is exactly how you have to do this thing, and it's not like spells or anything. It's just you kind of... It's more role-play-y.
Yeah. So one thing that can happen with this is something that would be a planned action. It's something you are calmly doing. So you can do something like, if for instance I say that's a 6, you could have chosen to take half on that roll, and you would have passed it instantly because you already can just hit a 6 by taking half of a d12.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a nice chill little thing for you to do. Does anyone else want to look through the wallet?
I have 2 questions.
Yep.
Do I have a phone that I can take photos with? Like, because I know we have video cameras because we film a show, but
Yeah.
do I have a phone? And secondly, do puppets bleed, or do we just lose fluff and deflate? Like, what's that kind of situation?
Think of it like the 2010s. You had flip phones, so you have phones with pretty shitty cameras. But cameras also do exist. You could just have that you could go buy a camera.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have one on you necessarily, but you do have phones. They're just not super advanced. In terms of bleeding, no, puppets don't bleed. It's pretty rare that you will see a puppet get injured in general, but in times where someone does accidentally rip, fluff comes out.
Just like the 2010s.
That will be quickly sewn up at like a local doctor's or the hospital.
Is this inside or outside fluff?
Outside fluff.
Okay, cool.
It's white, which everyone's fluff is white on the inside.
Okay, so it's inside fluff.
Yeah. What did I say?
Outside.
Outside.
I meant inside. I don't know why I said outside.
Okay, so it's bad news fluff.
Bad news fluff. This is the kind of fluff that, like, I mean, no one's ever died. So, like, just fluff in general doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to die. Everyone's fluff is the same. There's no fluff types. So it's like, someone like you, Lucy, or Poppy, it would be a problem for you if you got cut because you'd have to be, like, taped instead of...
I don't have fluff. If I get cut, ink comes out.
That's gross.
Fucking gnarly, huh?
That's really gnarly. Really gross, really gnarly. But every other puppet... Most puppets are felt and fluff on the inside.
Yeah.
Some, they're like maybe foam on the inside. Some are paper like you. It's kind of like a pretty, but general rule, fluff.
Do I have a camera?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you would
Phone
on
camera.
you would on your phone.
I take a grainy photo of the fluff and wallet before Poppy picks it up, and I just rename it as evidence_1.
Yeah. And you take the photo. You notice that the wallet is open, like faced open, to revealing the Alma's ID, and you also notice the fluff is sort of just in like a line, as if it was sort of dragged, caught on some gravel maybe. So does anyone else want to look through the wallet? Or Lucy, do you want to try do something else in regards to the wallet? Do you want to see if you can like work something else out? Like maybe you could... The way that Kids on Bikes works, for the listeners at home, is that you're really encouraged to be creative with how you solve your problems. You can't necessarily do everything by yourself. Maybe you could use a charm roll to ask someone for help in deciphering the wallet's clues, or whatever. Up to you guys.
Are all of the slots of like the card holders, are they all full?
No. It's a very light wallet.
Is there money in it?
Yes.
Anyone else got any thoughts? And she passes the wallet over to either Caesar or Mister, depends whoever goes for it.
Yeah, I want to take a look. I take a look at the wallet, and I'm sort of looking like if the cards have been sort of ruffled in it as if it was dropped, or if the cards that are remaining are all sort of in place as if it was placed on the ground.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be checking. I'll say that can be... let's say that's an 8.
Sweet. I got a 12.
You got a 12. Okay. So, yeah, that's a phenomenal success. You look through the wallet. You notice that, like, the cards are all very much, like, in their normal place. It doesn't look like the wallet was even, like, necessarily thrown on the ground. It kind of looks like it was placed there intentionally. The other thing that you notice is that there is one bit of the wallet where it's sort of been like, you know how like when you pull a card out from a card slot in a wallet, sometimes that leather fold can fold upwards.
Yeah.
You notice that there is a fold upwards there. There's a card either missing or it's been moved or something.
The ID is in there. The credit card is in there. Are there like coffee loyal ship cards and all that sort of stuff too? Or
Do we need ID cards to get onto the set?
Yeah, there's a McCafe loyalty card. There's the ID card for like general ID, and then like Lucy said, there's an ID card for getting onto set, which has a sort of like little magnet in it. You guys understand that, you've used them.
Yeah.
And there's also a library card in there.
okay, so it's not immediately obvious to me which card is missing.
Yeah, not immediately obvious.
Yeah, sweet. I relay to the rest of the group. He didn't just drop this. This was like placed on the ground
Okay.
on purpose.
Next 2 courses of action, we either search his green room, or I would be really keen to go to the library and see what he read up on.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I mean, we should definitely check out his green room while we're here, but then the library would be a great first place to look for clues after that.
Tom's so happy.
I'm just so proud of my little detectives. So, are you guys checking the
Green room, and
Checking
then
the green
we'll
room first?
look at the library afterwards, I reckon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just before we move on to the green room, I want to check which way the fluff line that you were saying it looks like it was kind of dragged, which way it's sort of leading to.
Sure. I'm going to say for this you can use grit or brains, because this is sort of like a street smart sort of thing. And I will say this is going to be a pretty tough roll. Let's say that this is a 15.
Alright, I'm going to use grit, because that's my d20.
Cool.
And I got a 15, because I rolled a 14 plus 1.
Nice.
Very good. Yeah, you sort of angle your eyes down, looking at this sort of gravel bit, and you can see that the fluff has hooked on to some bits of gravel, and it was being dragged sort of away from the studio towards the road. Which there's one road that leads into the studio. It's sort of like, think about at the Universal lot in Hollywood, right? How there's sort of just like one road and you go through it, and there's studios lined, big studios lined each, almost like houses on a street, right?
Yeah.
And it's being dragged out from away, like out towards that road, into the public eye, into the like main town area.
Nice.
And just for reference on how big the studio place is, there's 6 studios in this lot, so they film 6 shows at a time. They can film 6 shows at a time. They usually do. There's I think 10 shows running from. I think like I didn't make it up. There's 10 shows running right now, so that and some of those shows are filmed at night. Some of those aren't filmed at studio, so on and so forth. So yeah, bunch of information for you there.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that it was heading towards the
road out.
The road out. Also worth noting, the McDonald's that he would have been heading to is the other way. It's at the other end of the studio. You guys have a McDonald's just kind of at the end of the street. Should we just call it like fast food restaurant?
At this
Or
point,
is
I think
McDonald's
it's too
okay?
fucking late. You've really branded this, huh?
Yeah, it's the Golden Arches. But we can't say Muppet. So it's away from where Alma was heading, from what you understand.
Sweet. Yeah, I relay that to the team, and let's go check out that green room.
I feel like I should be taking notes.
I'm taking notes.
Okay,
I've
good.
taken
I'm not
notes.
going to. I fucking hate reading my own handwriting.
Fair enough.
It's not good. Green room.
As we head to the green room, I look out from my little notepad that I have with me. Maybe I'm typing it into my phone in like a really, really, really big font so that I can still read it, you know?
Because you're old.
And it says, Green Room, Library, Elmer's Wallet and Fluff. And then I've got like 2 spaces down, Lobster Coconutty ?
That fucking guy.
Just because he entered our studio right after Alma left, so if anyone
True.
saw anything, he'd be someone who might have seen something.
Yeah, we should definitely talk to him.
Yeah, you head through the green rooms. Do you guys want to describe like how you would picture your individual green rooms, just so we can get an idea of like what a green room might look like before we go into Alma's?
Hell yeah.
Just our three puppets on their way up this corridor, stopping outside their green rooms, being like, "This is my green room."
Well, you'd sort of be like, let's put it into a story perspective. This is the last time you might ever see your green room, and it's definitely going to be the last time you see it in this state, because you'll have to come
True.
up and clean it later on. You've been
Sure.
fired from the show. Probably not your green room anymore.
I have a like medium-ish size green room. I've got a lot of shelves, like all side just covered in shelves, and there's lots of like origami all over them. Stuff that Poppy's like really proud of, either because it's really good origami or it's from like a really good episode. And then the other like big thing she has in her room is she's got a letterbox, which was part of Mr. Greyscale's old set from Puppet Noir, and she uses it as like a couch. So yeah, that's like her favorite thing she's got in the green room.
Very, very cool.
The shelves are a combination of like very full, but there's always space. Like she'll always find a spot for anything. Yeah.
My green room is originally it was just white walls, but as an artist I've taken green room literally and I've painted it all shades of green. You know, like your shamrock, your moss, your parakeet, your pine, your pickle, all those sort of shades. And it's just like all these
Did you
different...
read those from a list?
Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie just showed us his phone, which I assume
Types
had
of
a
green.
list of greens. I've got you red.
All these different splotches of green, different scenes of like rainforest and grassy rolling hills. Just anytime I'm hit with inspiration while I'm waiting for the next scene, I just paint over in different green scenes. So that's pretty much my green room.
Is
Nice.
our colour scheme for us just green, white, and grey? Because I think it's a kind of ugly colour scheme.
It's like the Hungary flag, but instead of red, it's grey.
Well, we have to avoid blues because we'd use a blue screen for a lot of our segments on the show, actually.
Yeah, can't use a green screen with the amount of green we've already got going here.
Yeah,
And with
Alma's
Alma.
green.
Alma is green.
Yeah. Mr. Greyscale's Mr. Green Room is like wooden, like velvets, like everything's really nicely put together. It's a large green room. There's a large portrait of him as Detective Greyscale and his partner on the show and partner in real life for a little while, Commissioner Heartfelt. And it's signed by both of them, and it's just got there to the times we had and the times we never got to. And it's just a beautiful room, candles, a chandelier, rug on the carpet. Like it's too ornate and too nice. He'll have to organise someone to come and clear it all up for him because obviously he's not going to be seen carrying boxes out of his green room.
No, of course not.
Cool. And you guys, after passing through all your green rooms, you get to Alma's. Alma's door has a lock on it, the same way that the studio does, where you have to get into it. It's got like that same sort of card lock, and it's got a big star that says Alma on it, and the Alma is written in like, it looks like kind of a Comic Sans-y sort of font, like crayon, very kiddish.
Well, yeah, we've got his card, so...
Yeah, and you scan the card and the door clicks open, and you open up to a massive green room, like probably twice as big as like Caesar and Poppy's.
Holy
and
shit, this
just
is
a bit
wicked
bigger
big.
than Mr. Greyscale's.
Holy shit.
It's got like a bed in there. It's got a nice couch, a TV, which is on playing another puppet show. Let's say the Doctor Who cried puppet.
What a really specific Doctor Who special.
Yeah.
That's
And-
good.
and you-
Thank
and-
you, Lucy.
And also one of those classic makeup mirrors with the lights and everything. Additionally, hanging on each wall is a little framed photo of each of his cast members. He's got him with Mr. Greyscale, who's looking grouchy. Him with Poppy, and it says that holding up a sign that says "First Day." Him with Caesar, who's like, this is before Caesar really got the like whole fro situation going on, and it was actually just a little bit more like a sort of normal hairstyle, and then it was puffed up into a fro later on. and him with Dee Dee and him with Mohawk Mo. The Mohawk Mo one is a very new photo. It's the most nice looking one because it's, it's like a digital photo versus the rest of them, which are all film.
This kid lived in here.
Do you guys want to investigate this space?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is when finally I want to jump in and do an investigation.
So I'm going to tell you I'm going to give 3 DCs here, okay? We're going to say a DC of 10, DC of 15, and a DC of 20. 20 is obviously the best possible roll, which means that is going to be, the best possible information. 15 is really good information. 10 is generally good information. And tell me how you guys are investigating this space, and therefore which stat you're rolling.
My brains is a D8 plus 1, so really I'm not going to hit that 10 even. So I definitely think I'm going to go with my grit. I think my street smarts, having been on Puppet Noir Murders, I feel like I'm going to try and slide into old habits and use my intuition about what the scripts would have had me do back in the day.
Yeah, nice.
And that is a D10. I hate all of you.
Why?
I rolled a 2 plus 1, that's a 3.
Ooh.
Get yourself an adversity token, Troy.
Thank you.
But that is a failure. Poppy, what are you up to?
I'm gonna go around and look at all of our photos with Elma, especially DD, Mohawk Mo, and if there's any of Elma with anybody else that isn't us. And I want to see if I can tell, like, how the other people are feeling in those photos. See if I can figure out if any of them are, like, really annoyed at him or really, like, anything at all. Charm, if I may.
Go ahead.
So I rolled a d20.
Mm-hmm.
How does a 3 sound?
A 3 sounds like you get an adversity token. This is going to be the greatest detective work that you guys have ever done. Don't let us down. Caesar.
Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to use my brawn to lift up the bed and check what's underneath.
Sure thing.
Nice.
I'm rolling my d6, and I got a 2.
Take an adversity token.
Alright. While I was lifting up the bed, I feel as though I noticed something.
Do you?
Because I'm quite intuitive.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend my adversity token immediately to ask the GM about my surroundings, and the GM must answer honestly.
Cool.
Thank you, Charlie.
Good spending. You feel like... What do you want to know about the surrounding? What's your question here? Do you want me to just tell you general stuff, or...
No, I'm looking specifically... I would have been looking around for any signs of struggle, anything missing from the room, stuff on that sort of vibe.
Okay.
Or anything in the room that doesn't belong.
Sure thing. You can't see any particular struggle. The room looks like as clean as it always has. You do see that there's like been... Everything's a little bit messy. It's not like super clean. It's kind of like the room of like a kid who his parents would be like, "You're pretty clean," right?
Yeah.
So it's clean in the sense that like things are orderly at first glance, but the more you look at it, the more it sort of seems to be a bit more random where everything is. Like nothing's hung up in a very deliberate way. There's no like room design that sort of screams like, "Oh yeah, this is something where this is like planned, right? This is calculated. This is someone who knows interior design." One thing you notice is that there's like in the makeup area there's a drawer, and that drawer is like so stuffed full of paper that it doesn't shut.
Okay.
Paper, my expertise. I open the drawer.
You open up the drawer and you see like a lot of piles of different types of mail. There's like fan mail in there, but there's also bills. There's general just like letters from like people that Alma knows.
Junk mail.
Junk mail, yeah. Do you want to roll for me, Lucy? Do a brains or grit check.
Yeah.
And the DC for this one's really low. We're gonna say the DC for this one's a 6.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use my brains. I'm gonna be rifling through it and trying to look for anything that stands out at all.
Sure.
11.
Sweet. So as you're looking through this mail, you notice overdraft fees from the library. You also notice the odd like hospital bills. You notice rent payments and stuff like that, but you also notice that every single address on the back of the thing is not the address for the studio. It's the address written on the back is not the address of the studio. It's been crossed out, and then the address for the studio has been written there in its place.
I take note of who possibly it could be the hospital stuff for, the address that it's originally addressed to, the address for whatever the rent is, and I already know about the library. I need to be taking notes. I'm not going to fucking remember anything.
So the address for the rent is the same as the address on the back of the thing that's been crossed out.
What's the address?
72 Royal King Avenue.
Nice, I've noted that down in my notes as well.
Another thing you'd notice from using that adversity token, Charlie, is that there doesn't appear to be like a bag packed or anything like that, right? Or like clothes missing from the drawers. It doesn't look like
Right.
there's just bags strewn around, but they're not like packed and ready to go.
Right. Not premeditated by Elmer, possibly. I'm just thinking out loud.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Just thinking out loud.
I've got a list of locations, I got a list of names. Then I'm going to have a list of clues.
Yeah, I'm just writing everything down under evidence.
Oh, I've got a little notebook. My same notebook I use for everything.
The prototype for this series was me and Lucy doing a detective game where I made up
Was
a
it?
crime on the spot.
Really?
Kind of. I wasn't planning on doing a mystery before that.
That was so much fun. I went to go show Tom my little notebook that I bought. And I was like, Tom, check out this little notebook. I feel like a detective. And he went, yeah, solve this crime. He's like, guess which weapon it would be out of this. And it was like a 5-minute thing of us doing that. And then Tom was like, okay, now who did it? And it was an hour and a half of me. And this is the nerdiest shit me and Tom have ever done. Of like a 2-person TTRPG. Only RP of me just interrogating people. And I
awesome.
figured out who did it. It was really fun.
Amazing.
It was really fun.
It was really nerdy. It was great. It reminded me how much I miss living with Tom.
No.
I know, right?
That was when we just started living together again.
Yeah.
That was when we still hung out. Now we don't hang out anymore.
Nah. I'm science friend.
We stay in each other's rooms. we stay in our own rooms, except for when Cyan's out, and then I'll go to the lounge to talk to Cyan for half an hour, and then once my time is up, I'll go into my bedroom and Lucy can go talk to Cyan for half an hour.
Yeah. It's good. Hey, were we doing a show?
We were doing a show. Yeah, the address was 72 Royal King Avenue, which is like sort of on the edge of town towards the cliffside.
Yeah.
Do you do anything else with the letters?
I take a photo of them just in case.
Is there any fan mail where they have like a bunch from the same person? Could this be a crazed fan?
Make a roll. Let's say DC here is 12. Go for like brains, charm, grit, whatever you feel like is appropriate.
I'm gonna be looking for of course, names. Like, if it's simple, just names. If someone's trying to be clever and not seem like the same person over and over again, maybe like handwriting or like use of weird terms or like the way they talk.
Yeah.
You're looking for a stan.
I'm looking for a stan or a stan.
Yeah.
Both applicable.
Okay.
That is a 14.
14?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, as you look through, you do notice a few repeating names in the fan mail. Jeanette, Mel, Carly, Ethan. There's a few of those in there, and they're sort of like very heartfelt written letters.
Anything creepy?
Clearly kids' handwriting. Nothing creepy really, just sort of like things being like, thanks for teaching me so much about arts and crafts, Elmer. Thanks for teaching me how well I can do at things.
Does anyone say anything nice about any of us?
Not in the fan mail, no. You guys would get your own fan mail occasionally, but the
Yeah.
majority of it goes to Elmer.
Last thing I want to check is, you said he had letters from like just general people, like friends.
Yeah, he's just got some general letters, yeah.
Anything at all interesting in that?
When you open up the letters that seem to be from friends, they all open up into like, at the start of it, it's like, hey Elmer, oh, it's great to see you. I had a great time meeting you at the gala the other day. And then it pretty quickly transitions to, after a little bit of niceties, basically just saying, hey, could you do this job for us? Or hey, can you come do this work for us, this acting job, this gig?
Yeah.
pretty much every single letter that you read through from those, like the sort of friend letters, that's just what they are like. It's just someone asking Alma to do something for them.
I'm not gonna necessarily take notes on who's who of that, because in this town we kind of know. Like, it'd be all, like, the producers and stuff of other shows. And we can ask them in person if they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, there's people like, Carrot Butt,
No.
Bok Choy.
I have a question about the letters, Tom.
Yep, go ahead.
Are there any pay slips in there?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm ready to move on if we think we've done enough in this room.
I mean, we can always come back if needed.
Yeah.
Library time.
You guys get into the golf cart. Mr. Greyscale sitting on the back seats, facing away,
Yeah.
as you drive towards the library.
Charlie, which one of us would drive? It's a fantasy game. I think I should.
Yeah, I assumed that you were driving in this fantasy game.
In this fantasy made-up world. Yeah, you guys head towards the library. The library's like in the center of town. It's a pretty big library. Multiple stories.
A lot of kids' books.
A lot of kids' books. A lot of kid books.
Tom, did
It's
you say
kind
it
of
was
like
tall?
bragged about. Pardon?
Did you say it was tall?
Yeah.
A lot of stories.
A lot of tall tales.
My joke was funnier.
It was. I don't care. It's kind of like bragged about in town because they do use it for filming occasionally for the literacy luge. Reading rainbow joke. What's a thing that's like a rainbow?
The skimming spectrum.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Skimming's a spectrum. Sometimes it's just a straight up rock falls into the... People love to be like, oh, I'm skimming stones, or oh, I'm throwing rocks in water. But sometimes you're skimming for twice, and that's basically throwing a rock in the water, so it's a spectrum.
Why don't we go a different direction? How about the literacy leprechaun?
That sounds great.
Great.
The
I was
Literacy
Keep it Irish.
Leprechaun, which is hosted by a puppet who is a leprechaun, and
Yeah.
he's Irish and stuff. That's like a semi-popular show among kids, as far as you guys understand. It's that one's producer is the fun guy. Not even a joke, just kind of a thing. You guys get to the library. It's boasted as like the library where you can get any book you ever want, ever.
I want the book that solves the case.
Shame, not been written yet. The rest is still unwritten.
Oh.
What do you guys want to do in the library? What's your plan? What's your sitch?
I want to go to the front desk.
Sure thing.
I staunchly follow, ready to just kind of be there as a big name, big body.
You see a little squirrel puppet, which sort of like very similar to this like it's not even like the sort of puppet that's like fully articulating. Like it's just got a mouth, but it moves around a lot, and it's sort of like very looking at books and sort of like very quickly moving around the space, and then it hops down to the desk and goes, "Oh, can I help you?"
Hi, my name's Poppy. I was hoping if I could ask you a couple questions.
Sure thing. It pushes up its glasses by reaching both of its hands up very stiffly and pushing them.
Hands on sticks.
Hands on sticks, exactly.
Cute.
I love them.
What can I help you with? Are you looking for a specific book?
More about a specific person. Do you know Alma?
Of course I do. Alma is a very, very, very good friend of this library.
Yes, I bet he is. I was wondering if I could find out what books he likes. And maybe what he got out recently.
Okay, we can look into that for you. Hold on.
We got his library card, if that helps. Also, what's your name?
Elliot, the squirrel. Elliot sort of like reaches under and hits the on button on like an old computer, which makes this loud fucking you know old computers.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. He types on the computer, then goes like, I haven't seen Elma in a while, but grabs the mouse and scrolls down a little bit.
Is it a mouse? Is it like look like a mouse? Is it like look like a mouse?
No, it's a squirrel.
No, but the mouse.
Oh, the mouse. Sure. It squeaks when you click it. Yeah, Elliot's like, he hasn't been here in a little while. The last book he got out was, The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, of course he did. Would it be possible for me to look through all of the books that you've got here?
Every book in the library? There's a lot.
Just everything he's gotten out before.
Yeah, sure. You can take a look. I'm not allowed to let you behind the desk, so, if someone could just help me, and Elliot like tries to like push on this computer, but it just doesn't budge at all.
I'll help, and I help pick it up and bring it over.
Do a brawn check.
All 6 of my brawn.
DC of 7.
1.
Adversity token, kiddo.
Poppy tries to not be embarrassed at the fact that she's weak as the fact that she's weak as shit. Would one of you be able to help me?
Why don't I give you a hand with that right now? And I
Yes,
walk over and
please.
I want to give it a brawn check.
Go ahead.
My brawn is on a d20.
Ayo.
Still a 7.
12.
A 12. Yeah, you lift up that computer, no problem. It's pretty heavy, but like, I mean, you can lift it. And you bring it over to a sort of like table area. It's got a really long cord for some reason.
Yeah. I thought I was just turning it round so we could see it.
You can turn it around. Yeah, you just turn it
I
around.
turn it round. Not only do I do that, I'll take a photo of this list of books that our friend has gotten out so that we can walk around the library and find those books. We can see what order they were released in, just in case there's any kind of code hidden with what book was released in what order, and we can go hunt them down ourselves.
Or maybe like page numbers missing, or like words highlighted in the books.
Well, I hope he wasn't defacing the library books, but yes.
You see a very long list of kids' books. You look at the list and you see just a bunch of children's books. A few of them have like the little overdraft symbol next to them, like, you know, big red text that says overdraft. It's like an
So they're still
old-fashioned
out.
sort of. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet, right? Yeah, they're still out. One of the ones that's still out is a book on how to play Operation. Another book that is making money, and Spot goes to the mall.
Okay, here's Lucy's unhinged theory. This is going to be a regular segment. Elmer lost a lot of money playing Operation. He was trying to get better and better, but he lost all of his money playing Operation. So now he's in debt with the mafia, the big casinos, and he got taken out for it. And that's my theory.
Damn, Lucy already figured out the entire show.
I do what I can.
Elliot sort of squirms a little bit looking at the display, which, you know, says all this stuff, and tries to like sort of scroll down, but it won't scroll past like it won't scroll past like the base screen, like it won't scroll, and Elliot's like, that's weird. Normally we have every book on file, but for some reason it's not letting me look through them all. That's weird.
There's some missing information, you're saying?
Yeah, something like that. It's not that's very weird. It's just the last 10 are there, and then there's nothing else. It's very strange.
Can you delete information from your end?
Yes, we can delete information, but only once they've returned their library card, and then we can remove any trace that they were part of this library, because, you know, they don't need to be here anymore. But normally we don't delete information. No.
So this information couldn't have been deleted if this library card that we have here wasn't returned.
According to our rules, yes.
Do you have a main computer here? Like, bar this one, but like, I don't know, a main computer everything runs through? Your entire system?
No. This is our main computer. We only have the one. We don't have that much funding.
Can I try to look to see if there's, I don't know, any way to tell if they've been hacked? Or any information I could get from that?
Yeah.
I usually deal with paper, not computers, but I want to give it a crack.
I would say that's a brains roll,
Okay.
and I'll say that it's a DC of 12.
It's gonna be difficult.
Yep.
4.
No, you can't tell anything.
Adversity.
Are we sure there's missing information and that they haven't only ever hired out 10 books? I've never had a library book of my own.
Well, that's because you have a whole library.
Well, this information only covers the last year, and Elmer's been coming here for much longer than a year. I remember, because I remember everyone who comes in here and, you know, gets a book and stuff, and Elmer's always here, so it's very weird that it's not coming up.
Well, then I've got 2 questions for you, Elliot the Squirrel.
Okay.
Number 1, does Elmer usually come alone or with other people? And number 2, when did you last see Elmer?
I last saw Elmer when Elmer was getting the very hungry caterpillar out
2 weeks ago, and Elmer usually will come alone, but sometimes Elmer will come with his mother or something along those lines.
Something like that.
Elmer
Elmer's
usually
got
come
a MILF.
with his mother. Yes.
Hey, Elliot.
Yes.
Did his mother look sickly at all or anything?
No, she looked perfectly well. She looked that's weird. I can't really remember what she looked like.
Elliot kind of gives like a little concerned frown.
It's okay, Elliot. You're doing very well.
But you remember everybody.
Yeah, I remember everybody because I do that, but I for some reason I can't remember her.
Well, that's quite interesting, that is, Elliot. I think I should probably, and I snap a photo of him, keep you on my mind, because Alma, if you haven't heard, is missing.
Oh, that's did Elmer go for like a walk or something? Is that what's going on? I don't think.
We don't know yet, Elliot. And Poppy kind of gives a look to Mister, being like, this is a sensitive little squirrel. Please don't traumatize the sensitive little squirrel.
I step forward and I'm like, hey, Elliot, it's gonna be okay. Huh? You know me?
Yeah.
I'm rolling to charm to sort of calm him down.
Go ahead. Make that roll. DC of let's say DC of 10.
Sweet. And I'm skilled at that. I got a 10.
A 10. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm getting into Kaiser character.
As you do that, Elliot's like,
I knew I recognized you from somewhere. You're Kaiser from the show. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you guys can find what you're looking for. You're looking for books?
Actually, we just might be. If I was... Okay. Actually, I need to talk to you two for a second.
Huddle.
How do I phrase this?
Just give us a
If
second,
I was looking
Elliot.
for a book on how to kidnap someone, where would I find it? Is there a guide for that? Would he need one?
You would look for biographical tales of people who have been kidnapped and how they were taken and what was like sort of overlooked in that situation. And you can get a lot out of that.
Otherwise, detective mysteries.
Hey, Charlie, what Troy said was a normal way to answer that question. Are you okay? Better question. Are the people you interact with okay?
It's just, you think about these things sometimes.
Christ. I say what Charlie says and then what Troy says. And then I additionally say, or anyone else that was, or possibly if you know anyone who was here at the same time as Alma, not who he was with, but always here.
Wait, what are you asking about mine and
If
Charlie's
there- if-
suggestions?
They've got any books about kidnapping or autobiographical ones of people who've been kidnapped and what was overlooked by the kidnappers. Fucking freak.
Sorry. I don't think I know anyone called Alma. I'll look for the book for you, okay?
and Elliot skitters away up this like bookcase up towards like one of the higher up stories. This sort of spiral.
Is he
bookcase
getting
that reaches all
brainwashed
the
in
way
real
up.
time?
Oh my god.
Alzheimer's.
Awful thing to say.
Awful thing to say.
As Elliot scutters away,
I think we all just share that knowing glance of
yeah.
he's just forgotten.
I look
Was he-
around the room. I want to see who's here now, because if it has to be something that's done actively, it's someone who's here.
Yeah, someone might be intimidating him.
The library's empty.
Like, empty?
Like, empty aside from you guys.
And them, right?
And
Elliot.
Elliot, who's currently out of sight.
When he gets back, I want to ask if that's something that's common.
Yeah, Elliot comes back with, like, a few books on, like, he's got one that's called, like, The Snowman. He's got a couple books that say, like, he's got a book that says almost exactly what Charlie said, word for word. And he's also got a copy of, like, Sherlock Holmes, and he's like,
These are the things that sort of fit the relevance, I think.
Is it usually busy here, Elliot?
When we are filming, we sometimes have a few people come on by, but it's not particularly busy. No, it's a small town. Not everyone reads.
It's that darn television washing their brains.
I'm gonna hold on to this copy of I Was Kidnapped, how my kidnapper got away with it, and what the investigators overlooked during that case. If you could just put that on my library card.
Charlie,
Sure thing.
sorry, that
grabs your
implies
library
they're
card and
still
swipes
being
it.
held to this day. Do you mean how I was kidnapped, how the investigators solved it, and what the kidnapper overlooked, or
Nope.
No, it
Okay.
was released anonymously.
It was released
Okay.
posthumously.
Tom? I messaged you something.
Yeah, I saw it.
Can you answer me?
No, I can't answer you.
So not just a no, but you just won't answer me.
Yeah, I won't answer you.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast then, if that's okay, Tom.
That's fine.
I texted Tom, are we being Truman Showed?
I did think about that for a second.
I think we're being Truman Show. We're a new show. Or we're not. Is the information on the computer still here, Tom?
Yeah, it still has that same list of
Elliot, do you know who has this library card? Like, who has this account? And I point to the one on there to see if he recognizes Alma without saying Alma, just talking about a person who comes to the library.
Yeah, he looks at it and goes,
Oh, it's Elmer. Elmer from the show. You guys are on the same show as him. So,
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm.
What's he like?
very nice, kind of nice little guy. He's a really nice shade of yellow and comes in and talks about things and always gets nice books out.
You mean
when you guys remember Elmer, you remember him being yellow.
he's green?
No, you remember him being yellow.
Oh.
Our own
Okay.
minds are being changed?
Yeah, you remember Elmer being yellow.
Cute
But
little
there's
But
that
yellow.
Lucy
moment of-
knows he was green. Correct.
Lucy knows he was green.
Oh, fuck off! Elmer's never been real.
That's okay. I heard earlier that Produce R was a cabbage, and then in the next scene he was a lettuce, so I'm starting to doubt my own thoughts about everything.
We're being edited as we speak. We're being Truman Show. I'm right.
Lucy goes back to listen to this recording, and instead of we're being Truman Showed, it's like, we're being The Simpsons. But like in her voice, it's like deep faked in.
Hope you guys are excited to get fucked with for an entire season.
Yeah, very excited.
I'm not. I hate being stupid, and it's really annoying because it's just how it is.
I want to take a look at Elmer's ID photo that he has. What color is he in the picture?
You look at the ID photo, and it's this sort of blurry photo of a yellow puppet monster.
Okay. Which is what I expected, because I remember him being a yellow puppet.
Yellowy green color, yeah.
Yellowy green puppet.
Can I try to be aware enough to try take notes of what I'm thinking things are like now so I can compare down the line?
Yeah, sure thing. Do a brains check. Let's say this is going to be pretty tough. Let's say DC 15.
Okay, we need to clarify something now. Even if the checks are hard, we still have to roll with our really fucking low dice.
Yes.
And we don't have any additional stats. But if I roll my D12 and I get a 12, I'm allowed to roll it again and add that to my score.
Yeah.
So it's
So
really
there is
low.
a possibility that you can do it.
Yeah,
What are you rolling, Lucy?
a 12 to get a 15.
Okay.
I don't.
At the moment, right, what you're trying to do is doubt your own memory enough that you can try and write this down. The idea that Alma was green to you was like a fleeting, very quick, hey, that's not right. Well, actually, thinking about it, yeah, it is right. It almost,
Yeah.
like, your brain doesn't... It's like when you get deja vu and you're just kind of like, well,
I want to go look around the kids' book area.
sure,
See if we can find any physical clues.
sure thing. Elliot leads you guys to... Well, are all of you going, or is it just going to be Poppy?
I follow behind quickly and quietly, unsure what Poppy's off to do.
Yeah, I say, thank you, Elliot. We gotta go check out the rest of the library, I guess.
Sweet. Okay. Elliot points you guys in the direction of the kids' book section, which is like pretty much the entire like bottom floor is the kids' book section. There's one like really obvious play area, which is like the stereotypical thing you see in a library where it's just like, you know, beanbags and block puzzle and shit like that. There's cute little mascots like painted onto the wall.
Couple of little finger humans for the puppets to play around with and wear on their fingers.
Exactly.
I hate it.
What are you looking for right now in this kids book section?
Any sign of Alma?
Any sign of Alma? Okay. Just describe to me what you're looking for, how you're doing it, stuff like that. Sort of like get me into the zone of what is actually going on.
There's, I imagine, like a crafts kind of spot, right?
Yep. There's a
I
little
want to
like
see
table.
if there's anything Alma made. He did crafts in our show for ages. I would know what it would look like.
Sure thing.
So that's what I'm going to look to see if there's any sign of Alma spending like a lot of time here.
Okay. I'm gonna say I think since you're like using your knowledge of a friend, you can use charm for that if you would want.
Yes,
If you
please.
want.
What is my DC?
DC of 10.
15.
Nice. Yeah, you approach this sort of like table where you can see like this is where kids would sit down to draw. It's weird that there's such a big kids section at this library because there aren't actually like any kids that you guys know of aside from like kind of Elmer, who's like ambiguously childish, and a couple of other like people who sort of like act a little childish, but they're still like everyone's like, you know, like, they're a puppet. They're not. There's no like age really. You go up to this sort of like kids section, this like area where there's like lots of little drawings. You see like a pretty like there's sort of like a pile inside the little like desk drawer. You pull it out and there's a few drawings in there. There's one of a guy with a toga and curly hair, one with like this grey lizard, one that's like sort of like
What?
a picture of a woman papery.
Woman papery.
There's also a drawing, there's kind of just like drawings of like all of your cast members. They're all pretty terrible. Like it's kind of hard to make out like what's actually going on. You're kind of just going purely by color. You're all holding things that like you can't even like figure out like what the fuck this is. It just looks like something a kid has drawn. And additionally, there's a little drawing of Alma, and it's colored in with green crayon.
Ooh.
Good. Keeping this?
I snap a photo at least.
Yeah, you take a photo on your phone.
Now can I take notes of my memories because I've found proof that I was right?
Yeah,
Sure.
is there anything we can roll to like see if this does jog anything? I guess in D&D it would be like an insight or nature kind of roll. What would it be here?
I mean, that's sort of just like a brains roll, but it could be grit because it's kind of like that's determining like an emotional sort of brain thing. Charm could also work because that's like a socially adept thing. I would say any of the like mental stats work pretty well here.
I want to do a grit roll to see if taking that photo of the green colouring in jogs my memory to like check the photos I took earlier in Alma's green room and stuff where other pictures would have been, and of the ID earlier when I took a photo of the wallet on the ground.
Sure thing. I'm going to say the ID for everyone here is a 12 in terms of what you're trying to hit for the DC.
Okay.
And everyone here can do a roll on whatever they want. You do your roll first, Troy.
I've been doing my D10, which is my grit, and I've got a +1. And I rolled a 1 + 1.
Rough.
Cool. Adversity token.
There you go.
I'm gonna roll my grit, which is my D20. I rolled a 16.
Awesome. You become actively aware of the fact, and you remember checking that ID and seeing that it's yellow. You check again now, the ID is back to green.
Fuck.
You think to yourself, okay, I need to make sure that I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you can keep track of, you know now that you should be keeping track of your memories.
Yeah. So I start taking better notes.
I'm kind of going through that. I'm also trying to remember like how Elliot changed in our interaction with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, to see if I can see that in myself almost.
cool.
Adversity token time, baby.
Cool. So Poppy and Greyscale, you look at the green drawing, and again, for a second there's that moment of like, wait a minute, but then you sort of go, that's right, yellowish green, it's green, it's always been green. I just, like, you know, sometimes the brain gets a little bit confused about things, nothing's always crystal clear. The drawing was green, you guys are like, yeah, Elma's green.
I'm gonna keep that little bit of information to myself first, just so that I don't sound crazy to my compatriots here. Just like keep notes of that, and then I'll start to sort of try to introduce that factor of what I think might be happening later. I also right now want to check out where the Spot books are, because Spot goes to the mall. It's right smack dab in the middle of the series. I want to see if he's taken out any of the others. So I'm going to check the front of the books where the little like stamp section is, and see if he's taken out any other Spot books, or he just randomly went into the middle of the series for some specific reason and chose Spot goes to the mall.
So you're checking through the front page, front slip to see whether or not he's booked out any of the books?
Yeah. Any of the Spot books.
Sure thing.
Seeing what Charlie's doing, I imagine I'd bring up the list on my phone as well to check if there were any previous Spot hirings.
What role are you trying to do here, buddy?
I think that's probably brains.
Cool. I'm going to say this is a DC of, say, 9. Actually, that's pretty... I'll say 8. It's a pretty easy thing to be able to do.
Well, I got a 5.
You got a 5. All right. Adversity token.
Yeah.
Learning how to do DCs good is going to be really hard for me. It's something that I'll practice a lot.
Well, it's something we're going to get along the way as well. As we build up our adversity tokens, we can buy success.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look through the Spot books, and when you open up to like see that sort of like bit where you write down that you've booked out a book, there's nothing in there. Kids don't write. They don't fill that shit out. So
Right.
The library does.
yeah, but library's lazy.
They haven't kept up with their stamps.
They're
There's
understaffed.
only one guy that works there.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's a squirrel with no articulating hands.
I think I'm good for the library. Shall we carry on, team?
Yep.
Yeah, I reckon that's a good idea, but have we decided where we're headed?
Guys, we should go to 72 Royal King Avenue.
Good call. And we go out to the golf cart. Thank you, Elliot.
No worries. I hope you found the books you were looking for.
And as you go out and you sit down in the golf cart, you open up, let's say, Greyscale, you're sitting in the back seat, you open up one of the books that you got, the Sherlock book,
Yeah.
and you read the first page, and the first page is, it's pretty clear. It's and Sherlock Holmes was the greatest detective. He was a guy who solved a lot of crimes, and he did that with his super smarts and his best friend Watson, and it carries on a little bit like that for the page, and then when you turn to the next page, there's nothing.
As in, it's been ripped out, or all the ink is not on the page?
There's no ink on the page. It's a blank page, and as you flick through the book, the rest of the book is completely empty.
Well, would you look at that, or rather not look at it? My book is empty. What
And-
say you, Caesar?
Look, guys, I think there's something going on both with memories and the actual reality of the world. For a brief moment, we all remembered that Almer was yellow.
Alma
Alma's green. We gotta try our best to remember what's real. There's something more going on here.
It's all a front. It's all a construct. We have to leave this town. We're being Truman shot.
Caesar, with the book that you got, the super specific book,
I was kidnapped, how my kidnapper got away with it, and what the investigators overlooked in my case.
yeah, and did you...
Yeah, I opened that one up.
You open up the pages, and all it says is, I'm missing help.
Thank you for listening. This is Elliot Squirrel, just letting you know that you can find us at Season Quest Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you for listening.